So that bill is going to affect millions of people has passed in the Senate, and J.D. Vance was the dividing factor. President Trump's bill is going to give big tax breaks to the 1%, and it's going to up all of the middle class, lower class, and rural areas. More than 300 hospitals will be shut down because of this bill. Yep, and mostly in red states, so be prepared. On top of that, everybody's electricity bill is going the up. Yep, you're right. Because Trump is getting rid of green energy. Well, that means windmills and solar power. Not to mention the $900 and something billion in tax cuts for the 1%. When it comes to Planned Parenthood, well, there's no more Medicaid. So that means no more health and wellness checks under Medicaid at Planned Parenthood. No STD, STI checks. No mental health checks. No immunization. All of that shit is gone. But hey, the 1% gets everything they need. But SNAP is going to be cut. Social Security cut. Veterans assistance cut. Is this what the y'all voted for? Hell, gas prices ain't even down.
You know why everybody's so pissed about this big, beautiful bill? Because they got to get up and move their ass off the couch. They've been living off the government for the last God knows how many years.
Yep, you got me. You got me. Because I have been speaking out against this bill, and my wife and I can't lie about it. We have been drawing money from the government since 1999, and her since about 2004. See, because for 23 years I was paid as a soldier and as a GS civilian who retired in 2022 as a GS-12. And now I draw VA disability, and so does my wife, because in 2004 she was thrown from a Humvee and broke her back. And after retirement, I started working in the private sector. I've got a remote job that I work from home. And yes, I have been against this big, beautiful bill. Now you may ask why. Why? I would ask you the same thing. Why do you have the opinion you have that only somebody who draws money from the government because they're lazy is what you were getting at? Why would anybody else be against this bill? And it's simple, because I care about other people. Now, I don't draw any kind of benefits that are going to be affected by this. Will I be affected in some ways? Absolutely, but not nearly as bad as some people. Now, the bill's passed. There's nothing else to really debate because it's done. It's passed. Let's talk about what's going to happen now, and we'll use this for posterity because the changes are not going to be immediate. Here's the timeline. Medicaid cuts will roll out January 1st, 2027, and then over the next couple of years, those reductions will continue. SNAP cuts begin in late 2025 into 2026, and then ramp up over the next couple of years. Medicare, the same thing. They are tied to automatic pay-go and begin in 2027, extending through 2034. So you're not going to see these changes immediately, but when they start to roll out, remember how many times you all were told that this is going to affect so many more people than you think it is. This is not just affecting people that you deem as lazy and don't want to work. That's such a small percentage of people that draw these benefits. This is going to affect so many more people, including people that you know and love. And let's talk about Alabama because that's where you're from. Did you know Alabama ranks 14th in the nation for these programs? And if you look at the states and what states actually bring in more federal money because of programs like this, they are mostly red states. 7 of the top 10 states on that list are red states, which means these cuts are going to hit red states the hardest. So when these changes start taking place, and when your friends and people you love start losing benefits that they need and they can't get even if they're working, because also keep in mind, 75% of those that are on these benefits, they actually work a full-time job, they just don't make enough to cover. So when that happens, never forget back to 2025 when Democrats tried to help. Too late for that now. I guess this is that FAFO stage, and I don't wish it on anybody, but it's going to happen now, so best of luck.
So as we all have heard by now, Trump's bill just got passed. They're calling it policy, but let's keep it real. This is straight up BS. And guess who's going to feel it the hardest? It ain't the rich. It's regular folks. People like you, me, our families, our communities. They dress it up with fancy words and fake promises. But behind the scenes, it's just another way to take more from us while giving even more to the top. If you think this don't affect you, just wait. I'm about to break it down and show you the parts they don't want you to see. I want you to watch and really pay attention, because once you see who's getting hurt the most, you'll understand why this just don't make sense.
To the president, it's gorgeous.
We call it a great, big, beautiful bill because that's what it is.
But to Democrats, an ugly betrayal.
The bill before the Senate is utter poison.
940 pages that make up the foundation of President Trump's agenda. So what's actually in it? Start with tax cuts, a huge piece of this plan. As written, the bill would make the president's signature 2017 cuts permanent.
It's been an amazing experience.
The bill would also let people deduct more of their state and local income taxes for the next 5 years, which Republicans from blue states with higher taxes really wanted. And it would fulfill a Trump campaign promise by implementing no tax on tips overtime, or car loans. On other issues, the bill boosts spending on immigration enforcement with more money for the border wall and for ICE. It beefs up military spending, including money for space programs and moving the historic Space Shuttle Discovery from blue-leaning Virginia to ruby red Texas.
The shuttle has cleared the tower.
And it calls for funding the so-called Golden Dome, a U.S. air missile defense system. But all those tax cuts and extra spending are expensive. So how's it being paid for?
We're cutting $1.7 trillion in this bill, and you're not going to feel any of it.
Critics say that's not even close to being true, considering the cuts the bill calls for to social safety nets that lower-income Americans rely on, with even some Republicans who voted to move the bill forward concerned.
If we're going to be a working class party, we've got to protect working people. And I just, the Medicaid stuff in here, I think is bad.
New requirements and restrictions for Medicaid could make it harder to earn its benefits, effectively, experts say, kicking people off. A new estimate predicts more than 10 million Americans would lose their health insurance.
We're not talking about living this life of luxury with Medicaid. We are honestly talking about this life and death and how do we provide for our child in our home.
And the bill also makes changes to the SNAP program, or food stamps, to save billions. It gets rid of green energy and environmental credits, too. Democrats sounding the alarm.
I will tell you that this is the most dangerous piece of legislation I've ever seen during my time in Congress.
But many Republicans ready to celebrate.
I think it's going to be a beautiful day for the big, beautiful bill.
The Republican House has now passed the big, beautiful bill, which some have called the worst bill in American history. Democratic leader Jeffries essentially filibustered the bill, breaking the record for it today. A bill that you have experts saying is likely going to kill thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, by kicking them off of Medicaid and killing food assistance to the poor. It'll also strip healthcare and food from millions of kids. And that, as it'll give ICE, who many are saying act like a secret police, a budget bigger than the Marines. I mean, it's bigger than most of the world's militaries. But some, going even further, saying it looks like they're setting up a Gestapo-like force and that they're grooming ICE to be a Russian or Chinese-style disappearance force for critics of Trump. But as far as the here and now, yesterday, there were Republican holdouts. And now those holdouts, they're justifying their betrayal of their constituents by saying that Trump will executive order parts of the bill to fix the flaws in it. But Trump can't executive order Medicaid, right? He can't magically create Medicaid funding. The bill also puts work requirements on Medicaid, and as we've seen in southern states, putting work requirements on Medicaid doesn't reduce the unemployment rate, it just takes healthcare away from people. And reportedly, when you have work requirements on Medicaid, people have to fill out at least 16 forms and reports a year. And what ends up actually happening is that working people just can't keep up with the paperwork, and they and their kids sometimes end up losing health care. But hey, for now, follow to stay in the loop.
They are okay robbing you in your face is what the Republicans are doing. And no matter, and the Democrats didn't do their good job of, putting out and letting people know how this affects them to a certain way. You're talking about, you're increasing ICE from $3 million to $48 million. You're talking about cutting almost $1 billion out of SNAP and free lunch. I pay taxes. I don't care. Give these kids free lunches. I said, in order to increase our defense spending by another $1.4 billion, we already are the largest spending with defense of any country. And the fact that this is okay, what you thinking to do to people, and now mind, we didn't get into the tax implications of what this is going to bring, because with federal government cutting money from states is going to increase that on all us, meaning your groceries going out. And the fact that people aren't really raising the ruckus they need to, I'm like, have we got that complacent to let people rob us because we elect them? And that's just what, this is a whole grift going on right now.
Trump has did it again. 4 votes is what got the win. 4, I sat there and watched it for the whole, they said the 15, but it really was like 20 minutes. They won. They got it. So with this being said, all my nurses, all my doctors, all my CNAs, all my people who work at the nursing homes, get prepared because, you're about to be out of a job. All these little clinics around here in these small towns, they're about to close. This is about to be really ugly. It's about to get really ugly here in America. Yeah. All because of 4 votes. And you know what? The Democrats was winning at first. It was going. I was like, this might be a good one. And then it started slowing down. Then it came to 4 motherfuckers who wanted to say, you know what? Let all of them die. That's really what it's giving. And I just feel for a lot of people. I feel for all the people that's in the nursing home who has Medicaid. Like, this is crazy. This is wild. This is gonna be the upside down for America right here.
Well, you just couldn't call, could you, Magus? You just couldn't help out a few thousand or million people who are going to go hungry and are going to live in the fucking streets. Thanks, MAGA. Thanks a whole hell of a lot. Because most of the goddamn people live in your fucking states.
She can't lie. When I first seen that video, I laughed. And then I watched it again. And I feel a bit of sadness. Because the Democratic Party did this to this woman. All they do is fearmonger their constituents. That is it.
Imagine getting on this app and watching that lady's video and then dismissing it as fearmongering. You don't feel sorry for anything, and the fact that you laughed, it says a lot about you than it does about her. What's wild is you didn't even bring up a single fact on why she shouldn't be scared. Just empty words and deflecting. This is from America.org. When you have $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts, $1 trillion in tax giveaways for the richest 1%, that doesn't concern you? Because I know you're not in that 1%. You're out here crying about fearmongering when MAGA fearmongers more than anyone. Fearmongers about immigrants, about black people, about anyone who doesn't fit their little idea on what America should look like. What you're really mad about is that MAGA is being exposed. It's not about Democrats fearmongering. It's not about leftist fearmongering. It's about y'all being exposed for lying.
Regardless of who you voted for or where you fall on the political spectrum, I need you to hear what I have to say and receive it with an open heart and open mind, because it's not going to only affect you, but it's going to affect millions of your fellow Americans. This is why the big beautiful bill is going to hurt the working, middle, and lower class. As far as housing, they're going to cut rental assistance, Section 8, and homelessness prevention. If you're a low-income family, a veteran, or a single parent, good luck with finding safe and stable housing. These cuts to housing include HUD programs, Section 8 vouchers, and emergency rental assistance. This impacts families already struggling with rent hikes, and they will face longer wait lists or lose their support. Homelessness is likely to rise, especially for single parents, veterans, and low-income seniors. Landlords in low-income areas may evict faster, knowing subsidies won't come through, and this hurts the working-class families, disabled individuals, unhoused people, immigrants, and unsubsidized housing. Up next, how will it affect food stamps and WIC? They're gone for millions. So if you're working full-time and still rely on SNAP to feed your kids, too bad, babes. You're out. Reductions in SNAP, food stamps, WIC, all those programs, they're being cut. Eligibility thresholds are tightening and benefits are shrinking. This affects millions who may get kicked off of food assistance or receive less, even if they're working full-time. Families with kids will see grocery budgets stretched a little thinner, and WIC cuts means fewer resources for pregnant women, babies, and toddlers. This not only hurts single parents, but immigrant families, gig workers, students with kids, and the elderly. As far as health care, Medicaid is getting gutted. That means more uninsured workers, higher medical debt, and fewer mental health resources. If you beat cancer like I did, or live with a chronic illness, they just made staying alive more expensive. This bill causes healthcare program rollbacks. What's being cut is Medicaid expansion and subsidies from the ACA. This impacts low-wage workers who rely on Medicaid, who will then become uninsured or forced into private plans that they cannot afford. Preventative care, mental health services, and prescriptions will become inaccessible. This mainly hurts immigrants, low-income workers, cancer survivors, or people with chronic illnesses. As far as education, they're attacking Pell Grants and student loan relief. First-generation students, immigrants, and parents who are trying to go back to school, the path for a better future for yourself or your family just got that much harder. In relation to the education access, this is what is going to be cut or restricted. Federal Pell Grants, student loan forgiveness programs, funding for public colleges, and adult education. This makes it to where education becomes even harder to access without debt, and immigrants and first-generation students lose their shot at an upward mobility. Adult learners, like parents going back to school, are now going to face more barriers. This hurts the working class students, DACA recipients, parents returning to school, and people trying to skill up to escape poverty. I know this is one of the biggest ones, but the tax cut for the wealthy and corporate welfare, sweet merciful Jesus. While they're slashing aid, this is what they're doing. Expanding tax loopholes for billionaires, lowering corporate tax rates, deregulating industries that exploit labor. Need I go on? In layman's terms, and in order to translate for the people in the back who are just not getting it, tax cuts for billionaires are untouched. Corporate loopholes are still wide open. They're not cutting waste. They're cutting people like us. They're balancing the budget on the backs of the poor while rewarding the already rich. This is why it matters. This bill isn't about cutting waste. It's about cutting people out of basic dignity. It undermines economic mobility, education access, food security, healthcare equity, human rights for immigrants, and working families. It is a direct blow to the working, middle, and lower class. But here's the thing. This isn't the end. It's a wake-up call. Talk about it. Share this. Show up where it counts. Because we deserve more than survival. We deserve a system that serves us, not one that buries us while smiling. If you stayed to the end of the video, please interact with it in any way. Repost, comment, like, share, because this needs to get out to people like us. A lot of people are not aware of what's happening behind the scenes because they're too distracted. And on top of this, many Americans who voted for the talking orange believe that rules for thee and not for me is how things are going to play out. And it's just not. There are many Americans who are waking up to find out that their lives are going to be impacted by this. Many of them are effing around and finding out the hard way, as they should. But unfortunately, millions of other Americans are going to be impacted by the choices that they have made.
Big beautiful bill, Medicaid cuts. I'm for it because I'm an able-bodied American citizen right now. I'm headed to work. I work at least 40 hours a week. People need to stop just getting free benefits. If you can go to work, you need to go to work because we're tired of paying for everybody. So Medicaid cuts, we're here for it.
It's my mother-in-law. She worked 40 hours a week too at the same company for 32 years, and she was union, and then she got brain tumors and she lost her health insurance because if you're not working, you're gonna lose your health insurance, and then Medicaid and Medicare kick in. Every single person is one tragedy away from having to be on Medicaid and Medicare. You're one brain tumor, one car accident, and for you specifically, looking at you, I can tell you're one heart attack away from needing Medicaid and Medicare. Now, I know that you think everybody that's on them is lazy illegals, but guess what? One day, you're gonna need it and you're not gonna have it. And it's not you that's paying everything. It's people like me, the younger generation, that are paying for that for you, for her. Now, thank God that she has successful children that can subsidize her way of life, because Medicare and Medicaid, it don't cover it all. You're going to be in poverty forever, and you're going to lose your house, you're going to lose your home, you're going to lose everything that you ever worked for, and you're going to have to move in with your kids. So I hope that you have fucking rich kids, because you just made that little tiny entitlement that you're going to need fucking smaller. I would like people like you to think of the future. You're gonna need it. For you, it's probably gonna be a couple years, all right? Because I could tell you've probably been eating butter and fried chicken for the last 20 years.
The big beautiful bill passed today, and to be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm shocked, because I'm absolutely not, because I already knew this is what was gonna happen. But what's really insane is the fact that people don't really understand the real implication of this bill and really understand what a danger this bill is. And y'all are celebrating this like this is something so amazing, and you really think that this is not going to touch you. You really think that this is not going to affect you, but you gonna see. You're definitely going to see. But it's so crazy because y'all really think that these different things that are in this bill is for a certain demographic of people, and it's not. This is going to affect the American people overall. But y'all seem to not be, it ain't clicking. It ain't clicking, which is crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. All the different things, all the people getting kicked off of Medicaid, the SNAP cuts, all these tax cuts that the rich are getting. This bill will wipe out the middle class. It's going to be either you're poor or you're rich. Simple as that. Point blank period. But we shall see.
So the big beautiful bill has passed, and I am thinking about the fact that I was a Medicaid recipient as a child. My mother, we were from low income, right? We lived in the hood, in poverty, and I was on Medicaid. My mother was on Medicaid, or had Medicaid for me, however you want to say it, and also I depended on school lunch, free and reduced lunch, breakfast, things like that, because we didn't have it. And I just can't imagine a world where we continue to crush the bottom half of people and give the breaks to the top. I don't understand it. Those programs meant so much to me. Those programs helped me get out of the hood. Those programs helped make ends meet, and to know now that so many people are going to lose their health insurance. It's sickening.
Republicans just passed the bill in the House, so let's get educated so we know what happens next. Remember, the Senate passed it earlier this week, and there was a little consternation because we didn't know if the House was going to pass it or not. But they did. They're taking away millions of dollars from Medicaid, which will essentially hurt the American people, the least of us. They're taking away SNAP benefits. They are ending subsidies in the Affordable Care Act, which most people have, or let me not say most, a lot of people have the ACA. Obamacare. My kid was born on Obamacare. We were entrepreneurs. We needed to get insurance through the marketplace. And so we went through Obamacare and got a government subsidy to cover the cost because our insurance was going to be $850 a month for the basics. The basics, not even like top tier premium stuff. We was just like, we need some coverage. We're going to have a kid, all the things. So those subsidies are getting wiped out. But who is going to benefit from this? Billionaires. The people that continue to fund those Republicans' pockets. That's who's going to benefit from this. Not everyday folks like you and me who go to work and pay our taxes. Not even people who need Medicaid because they are the least of these. Side note, I'm a social worker by trade, undergrad, master's degree in social work, getting a doctorate in social work, will be graduating. I don't care what they do with student loans, but will be graduating. Hello, somebody? Will be graduating in 2027. I've worked in an acute care setting in the hospital. Medicare fraud in the way in which they're talking about it is not a thing. There's no cash payments for Medicaid going out to people. People who are on Medicaid are the people that are the least of us. The people that need the help. Picture it, Sophia. People who care about family values are doing things to tear down families, to harm people, to harm families. And the Republicans just passed it. So now it's going to go to Donald Trump's desk. He wanted all this done by July 4th. July 4th is tomorrow. So it looks like they will have some type of grand celebration in this massive bill that is going to hurt everyday Americans, but is going to make it easier for rich folks and corporations. That's who they care about. That is who they passed this bill for. Not for us, and certainly not for the least of us.
Can we please talk about this big, beautiful bill and how it's about to us? I am seeing so much job loss because hospitals are going to be losing money left and right. I am seeing CPS cases because kids will come to school malnourished. I'm seeing dead bodies on the side of the road because people don't have health care. Like, this is about to get crazy. And it is giving me severe anxiety. And I feel like I need to be medicated right now because it is about to get real crazy. How y'all feeling?
A woman on Twitter said that a lot of people are about to lose their Medicaid and not realize it because their insurance is called something else in their state. Perfect example would be Texas, which is Star or Star Plus, CHIP, Georgia Pathways, New York State of Health, California, CalAIM or Medi-Cal, Maryland, Health Choice. Illinois, Health Choice Illinois. These are just some examples. And people really don't know that their insurance is Medicaid because they don't know what the real name is. I mean, even Florida has an acronym as SMMC. If you're not paying attention, you wouldn't even know that that's Medicaid. All I'm saying is that a lot of people are about to suffer, and it's not a fault of their own. It's just the government doesn't want to help you.
Now let's be real. This bill wasn't made for people like us. It wasn't written with working families in mind, and it sure wasn't meant to help our communities. Let's call it what it is, a cash grab. Another slick move by the rich to stack their pockets while stripping resources away from everyday folks just trying to survive. They pass this thing like it's progress, but look closer. What it really does is cut healthcare funding, slash Medicaid, and roll back support for programs that our people depend on to stay alive. Think about your auntie who's on disability. Think about your grandma who relies on that prescription plan. Think about the single mom down the street working 2 jobs just to get her kids some checkups. This bill targets them. It's all part of a pattern. Every time power shifts back in Trump's hands, policies start attacking the same people. The working poor, our communities, and anyone who can't afford a private doctor or buy their way out of the system. Let me break it down even more. This bill includes deep cuts to Medicaid, one of the biggest lifelines for low-income families. You know how many of us rely on that to take our kids to the doctor, to get mental health services, to pay for insulin or asthma meds? They're stripping that away under the radar while distracting us with media spin. And it's not just healthcare, it's public health services too. Community clinics, preventative screenings, mental health support, all of it is under attack. And you already know, when funding gets cut, our neighborhoods are the first to feel it and the last to recover. But guess who benefits? The wealthy, the corporations. The same folks funding these bills are the ones getting the tax breaks and the loopholes. While we're losing coverage, they're building second homes. While we're wondering how we'll pay medical bills, they're cashing in on stock gains. And what makes it worse is the silence. They're hoping we don't notice. They're hoping we're too distracted, too tired, or too beat down to fight back. I see what's happening, and I know you do too. This bill is not just a political decision. It's a direct attack on our lives and our future. We can't sit quiet while they cut us off from care, from safety, from stability. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Stay informed. Stay loud. Share this video with your people. Talk about it. Post about it. Don't let this slide under the radar, because that's how they win, when we stop paying attention. This fight is about more than politics. It's about people. It's about community. It's about making sure our voices are heard, even when they try to silence us with paperwork and policy. We deserve better, and it's time to demand it. But before I go, let me say this. We've been through worse, and we've come out stronger every time. From bondage to segregation, from Jim Crow to redlining, from mass incarceration to health disparities. We've faced it all, and guess what? We're still here. We've survived systems designed to break us. We've built from nothing, raised families with next to nothing, and kept our faith when everything around us said to give up. That strength, that's in our blood, that's in our bones, that's in our spirit. This bill might be trying to set us back, but it won't stop us. We know how to fight, how to survive, and how to rise. This too shall pass. They can't erase our power, they can't crush our resilience, and they definitely can't dim our light. So keep your head up, keep speaking out, keep taking care of your people, and remember, we are built for this, not just to survive, but to thrive. If you felt this message, if this video opened your eyes, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Let's keep this energy going. Let's build something they can't silence. We've made it through everything they've thrown our way, and we're gonna make it through this too. Much love, stay safe, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.
So, Black people, melanated people, I want you to know that we always had to struggle. We always had to make it when the races put racist bills together. So I want you to give this no energy. We know how to fight. We know how to survive. And now it's time to unite. That's all we got to do. Don't worry about that big, ugly, racist bill. We know how to fight. Band together. Don't worry. Black power. No matter how much Trump is holding up the Black power fist, It's ours, okay? We got this. Don't worry.